Welcome back, subscribers, and hello YouTube viewers. Now, as per usual, we'll have a look at some of the old photos. We'll have the walkabout and then the drone at the end. And on this occasion, we're off to Lara. Lara is a residential town set in a rural surround between Melbourne and Geelong, northeast of Geelong across Corio Bay and approximately 62 kilometres or 38 miles southwest of the state capital, Melbourne. It is situated on Hovells Creek, which drains into Limeburners Bay, which is an indent on the Corio Bay coastline. The Melbourne to Geelong Railway, built in 1856, passes through Lara, and the Princes Freeway, or M1, skirts the town's southern boundary. On the other side of the freeway, there is Avalon Airport, and I think I might have mistakenly called it Laverdon Airport. The explorers Hume and Hovell arrived at Lara on the 16th of December 1824, believing that they had reached Western Port Bay. They recorded that the Aboriginals described the bay as Geelong, that's spelled Jullong, and land as Carago, suggesting origins of the names of Geelong and Corio. Hovells Creek was first called Duck Ponds Creek when the area was settled in the 1840s, and the place where Lara was laid out was known as Duck Ponds. The name accurately described the nature of the waterway and the plentiful fowl found there. The town had a lake of about 15 acres. However, a plan for the village in 1853 named it Lara, and the names coexisted with the Hovells Creek post office until the 1870s. The school, which was opened in 1866, was called Lara Lake, and the railway station was Duck Ponds. And the colonial government decided on Hovells Creek in 1872. In 1876, after local petitioning, the name Lara was settled on. It is thought that the name is derived from the Aboriginal word meaning stone or building of stones. Now, there is a bit more history that I have discovered, so I'll share more when the drone goes up. Welcome back, subscribers, and hello YouTube viewers. On this occasion, we're in Lara. Now I'm going to have a bit of a look around. Lara to me has always been a place when I was a child and we had to make our way to Geelong. So you'd go through Little River, and then you come through to Lara and then on to Geelong. So I'm just curious on what my memory is of the place. Basically for me it was sort of like a large intersection where the railway station was. I believe there was an RSL sort of memorial place as well, a gas station, and that's about it. But I do understand now that it's huge, like it's a huge residential area, it's a big suburb, it's a suburb just like any other in Melbourne, and I'm just curious what the old stuff looks like. So we'll go have a look and let's see what we see. So here I am, I'm at the, what I recall as being sort of the major intersection of Lara. Now there is a roundabout here at the moment, so things have changed already. I do recall the pub, and the pub's still there in the distance. Directly behind me is the RSL, and pretty much opposite the RSL is the railway station. And if I sort of face it this way, the camera, just behind me you'll see the pub. So I will swing the camera around so you don't have to look at me all the time, but basically things haven't changed that much. Now I do understand there is a huge residential area. I've just, as I've come up here, I've quickly just pulled over and had a look at the Google Maps, and yep, this is a suburb just like any other. So it's gone from a country town to suburbia. I do recall it being flat with not too many trees, and now I can confirm that it's still very flat. But where the residential areas are, where the new estates have gone up, and I'm assuming they've probably gone up in the last 20 to 25 years. It's been that long that I've gone through here. I think the only time I've gone through here is when the M1 freeway has been cordoned off due to an accident or something, and you've come around the back streets. So I'll swing around. You'll see the silos in the background to indicate that this is farming land, but it's also a major depot for grain. So I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, there's a place called Breeden's, and I believe they're into all the seeds and grains that sort of they collect, and then that goes down to Geelong, to Corio Bay, I believe, and then onto the ships for export or wherever else they go. I'm looking directly now at the RSL, and that looks like $1 million. If someone's painted it up, dressed it up, it looks fantastic. So I'll spin the camera around and I'll show you what I'm looking at. So just there, as the truck's going through, is the Roundabout and that Jim's Mowing sort of trailer. There's a big car wash. There's the pub or the hotel. There's the silos that I recall as a small child being there, or something similar. The railway station is there. That still looks the same. Not that I've ever gotten on or off at that station. And the rest is so familiar. But it does look quite barren at this location. But I'll rest assured that if you do go to Google Maps yourself, you'll see that just a little bit in the distance there's a big Coles supermarket. There's big real estate developments. And it really is like a giant suburb. But this is the RSL. That's terrific. That's in such good nick. Whoever's maintaining it and looking after it, they're doing a great job. It looks like it has been maybe even freshly painted. Zoom into some of the plaques. There's your church, and there's your plaque. Very good. So here comes the regional train. There's no electrification of the tracks, so they do have the regional trains that come out this way. So if you're living in the area, needed to commute to Melbourne, not a big deal. If you need to commute to Geelong, not a big deal. The service is quite regular, and there's also a bus service that will take you, I think, to both directions and also to other country towns. But as you can see, the car park for the railway station is huge. So it obviously is a popular station, and there's a lot of people living out here. I can only imagine that this would be more for the first home buyers, and the cost effectiveness of having a home is probably a little bit cheaper in places like this, which is good, because if you had to commute to Geelong or to Melbourne, you've got the choice of employment opportunities at both cities. Now on display at the RSL is, I'm just going to guess and say that's an anti-aircraft gun. Whether or not that's mounted on a ship or it had some sort of trolley or wheels that one would take, I'm assuming it's probably off a ship, but I'm assuming also that it's also an aircraft sort of anti-aircraft gun. There's no real plaque. Well, there is something that's on the side. I'll just have a quick look, see if I can read it. And if you can read whatever that says and make sense of the initials, something to do with a 40mm anti-aircraft machine gun, maybe? Well, that's what I'm going to assume. So, right next to the RSL, there is a trail for walking and also for riding bicycles, and it looks like it does take you all the way to Corio Bay, so it's a fair trip. So if you're looking for something to do, you catch the train out here. You definitely put the bicycles on the regional trains, jump off here, make your way to Corio Bay, or even all the way to Geelong if you're fit enough. And once you get a bit too tired, the bike back into the train, and if you're from Melbourne, you won't have to ride all the way back. So that's something good. So there are bike trails in the area, which is great. Okay, so here we are at the Mong Reserve, and I do believe this is actually a campsite. So we'll find out as we get closer to it, but from my understanding, this is where, if you've got daughters or you've got family members that are in the Girl Guides, they actually come out here and have like a camp out. I guess back in the day, coming to Lara was going into the rural countryside, and it taught girls some field and bush skills, just like the Scouts for the boys did. So this is going to be quite interesting. Whether or not it still operates as just a Girl Guides place, or is it still a camp? I'm more inclined to think it operates more as a camp, but I guess the only way I'll find out is once I've uploaded this video and double checked once that drone goes up. So if I get the drone up, that's normally when all my surmising and guessing gets a little bit more clarified, because sometimes I get it quite wrong as I just walk around and speak aloud and guess what the buildings are that I'm looking at, or what the complex might be. And to me that seems quite large for just a Scout Hall or a Girl Guides, but it is a Girl Guides reserve for them, and this wouldn't be a bad place. I'd send my daughters here if I had daughters to camp out, not too far away from everything, and they can actually come out here on the trains as a whole Scout group if they're from another, a Girl Guides group, if they came from another Girl Guides group from another, say, district or area. Now I try to shield what you can see with my hand over the camera, and as you can see, there's bunk beds right along this corridor. So this is fantastic. So yeah, maybe if you've got kids that are in the Girl Guides, maybe you can speak to their leaders or their organisers and say, hey, let's get the girls out for a weekend away. And this is a fantastic location, so if there's any dramas or anything, the parents can quickly come to the rescue, so to speak. But yeah, all these rooms, there's rooms on the side along the corridor with all the bunk beds. This is on the board out the front. It does mention that the reserve belongs to the city of Geelong, and I'm not sure if it had a phone number on it. When I walk out, if it's got a phone number on it, I won't show it for the second time, but it does have like a kitchenette, and what a fun way for kids to get out amongst friends and learn some bushcraft, some camping craft. There's like a little garden here as well. Yeah, and then immediately behind us, you've got the railway station as mentioned, so it's easy access to get here. The parents could virtually see them off at a station closest to their actual Girl Guides hall. And if they brought their bikes on the train, not a problem. And there's a bike ride that they can get involved with and maybe get a badge or two. I was in the Scouts, and I do recall, for whatever reason, I was always keen to get those badges to be put on my shirt. So there you go. So yeah, this is just the back half. It's terrific. They've got a little garden going here. So whether or not this is actually like a once a week ongoing thing for Girl Guides, or it's something that other Girl Guide organisations in other suburbs, so to speak, contact and make their way here and book it out. And I'm sure they're probably all aware of it, but this is really nice, very clean, well kept. My hat goes off to the council if they're coming in to maintain it, because it's in really good nick. And yeah, so we'll continue on. As I said, what we'll do is we'll have a look at the railway station as well. And that bird is very vocal. So the railway station, there's a few other little things I recall. I'll even have a look at the map and see if this thing. I don't really want to go into the suburban areas. I'd rather stay out where all the stuff that I recall as a kid seeing. So here's something quite interesting at the roundabout. There is a horse trough. Now it was donated by Annis and George Bills. And what's interesting about it is these guys established a trust for the protection and the suffering of animals, which furnished over 500 public horse troughs around the world between 1924 and 1945. And 3 remain within the greater Geelong area. So isn't that nice? So they obviously were animal lovers, probably horses. And 500 horse troughs, watering troughs for animals. Well, what a nice gesture to have. And between those years of 1924 and 1945, so after the First World War, right up to the end of the Second World War. So here we are at the railway station. There's a non-secure bike place. And there is a secure bike place to put your bike. Once again, I've only been here for about 20 minutes and at least 3 trains have come and gone from the Lara railway station. So the frequency is pretty good. It is a weekday. So this is pretty good. So once again, you register, pay for $50 for a swipe card, and you put your bike in. And I'm hoping there's some sort of CCTV camera, so then people swipe, they only take their bike and not someone else's. We'll go up to the platform and let's see what we see. I can let you know that there's also a designated motorcycle spot right next to the bike shed. So here we come up to the platform. So it's I don't know what you call this. It's a single platform with a platform 1 and 2 at either side. Whether or not it's stationed, I don't know. Staffed? Oh, it is staffed. I can see people in the background. So that's pretty cool. I'll give you a bit of a look-see. I'm not sure what's the old part and what's the new part. Now, this does look like the new part. And just down here, if you look at the girders that are up against the building, how they suddenly change with those triangles, which I believe is probably the old part, and the overhang head that's the overhang that's hanging out further than the new part. So there's a new and old part stuck together. Very good. And if it's too hot for you, you can come inside. And I can tell you right now, it's heaps cooler. And there's drinks to be bought, TV to watch. It looks like a bit of a, maybe during peak hour you can get coffee and tea or something. I'm not sure. The toilets are inside, which is great. So there you go. And it looks like you've got friendly staff working here as well, which is also great. So this is the view from the station. This is from platform 2. Huge car park. Absolutely huge. My only concern is it would be a bit of a fight to park under the trees. It is really hot today, and even my car is suffering whenever I get back into it. It is really hot, and I've got short pants on, which doesn't do me any favours. So you've got some outdoor shelter, and as you can see, there's a fair bit of shelter here as well. So my only conclusion is there are large numbers of people that commute from this location of Lara. There's your silos. Whether or not they're still in play, or the grain that's
Oh no, look, if you look at the tracks, so you've got quite a number of tracks here, and there's one that goes right next to those silos. Whether or not it's where they fill those carriages for freight for trains here, I can't tell you. It's not my area of expertise, but I'm sure people will know straight away. You can see where they've got that concrete platform, and do they come with some sort of machinery and load up those carriages that take grain and take it down to Corio, which is my guess. Now, it will be difficult to also drone this area. We're very close to, I think it's Avalon airfield or airport, and we do have to stay 5.5 kilometres. But looking at the map, it wouldn't take that much, only a few 100 metres away, and I should be able to get it up, and then I'll use the zoom on the drone to give us a better look at this station. Okay, so there's just another view of the Lara railway station. Very good. And it takes you right into the Southern Cross station to drop off people are making their way into Melbourne. So this is the Geelong bound from Melbourne regional train. And it's quite a long one, and I can just see inside that it's quite full. Very good. And off she goes. Okay, so here we are at the Holy Trinity Church. And it used to be I think it's part of the Church of England. I'm not sure how they're all connected, but this is the only part that was left sort of standing, and sort of, I've got to sort of check on the history of it. But in 1969 there was huge bushfires in the area, and the church got burnt down, and this sort of tower was spared, and that's probably obviously because it was bricks and mortar. It's a bluestone sort of construction, and I believe that it was also repaired as sort of like a monument to the fires. So if I come a little bit closer, there might be something we can look at here. Okay, so this all now makes sense. So we're looking at, it's our heritage, Church of England, built in 1865 and rebuilt after the 1969 fires. I'm assuming that's just the tower itself, because that all looks too new. I don't believe that was at all built prior, and once you see this part you'll realise, oh yeah, that makes sense. So I'm assuming that just this tower here was rebuilt. Well, not necessarily rebuilt, but protected as a heritage piece, because you can see, if I can point to that half, is very different to that half. So I'm assuming that was added to maintain it structurally sound for the rest of the tower. We'll try to go right around, have a good look. So that's the church now, what it looks like. Very slick. We'll get another angle over here. I do like all the vents that are in place. Very tall. Yeah, you can see where sort of suggests to me that, looking at it from this angle, the actual church was running to our right. And hopefully there would have been a historical photo that I've got of this church which will confirm that. So in other words, where they've got the new, I don't know what you call them, Besser bricks, those bricks there, was where the church sort of came out. Okay. So that's another great landmark for Lara. Now if you are making your way out to this church tower, you've got a youth centre next door, the church itself, and an op shop. So if you're one of those people that likes to have a bit of a look-see in some of these op shops, this one's pretty good. I've gone in there. I'm always on the lookout for motoring manuals for mechanics, if that makes sense, as my son's now, I think he's in his final year as an apprentice mechanic. He's always asked me to be on the lookout for any of those shop manuals for certain cars, not all cars. He seems to be very interested in anything that's four-wheel drive, so the Subarus, the Nissans of any shape or model that's four-wheel drive, the Toyotas obviously, and the Fords, but more the older stuff than the newer stuff. Now here I am at the Lara sort of recreation area, and they've got it all happening here. They've got netball, tennis courts, cricket, football, they've got everything. There's cricket pitches, there's just about everything. I'll scan around slowly, and whatever's behind my head is basically what's available. I'll also pass their local library, which is terrific for a town. And the best thing about this area, at the reserve, where all the sporting facilities are, if you look directly behind me, there's a row of trees. Now, I think Lara needs more trees. I've been to a few locations now. It is really hot, I guess, in the heat of summer. It's quite unbearable actually, and there's not many trees about, except near the railway station. Definitely needs some sort of cover. But some of the other locations, you just cook in the sun. But at least you've got some good trees here. So I'll get the drone up from this location. I shouldn't have too much of a problem in relation to that distance from the airport at Laverton, and I'll be able to zoom in only to where the railway station is, and that's about it. But hopefully the wind won't interrupt us, nor will any restrictions that suddenly pop up to tell me no, you can't fly from here.
Now that the drone's up and away, just take note, there is a large and long freight train that goes through. But I'll take this opportunity to continue on with a little bit more history. So adjacent to Lara, there was also village subdivisions named Cheddar and Swinham. And these areas are now absorbed by Lara and Lara Lake. The first church in Lara was built by the Primitive Methodists in 1854, and the more substantial Holy Trinity Church was built in 1877, but subsequently destroyed by the fire in 1969, and that was a grass fire. And as you've seen already, that the tower had been sort of resurrected, I guess, and it shows that one portion of the church that they've been able to not just save, but for a bit of history. So the Lara Railway Station is a regional railway station on the Warrnambool line, part of the Victorian Railway Network, and Lara Station is the ground level staff station featuring an island platform with two faces, which I think I got correct. It opened on the 1st of November in 1856, with the current station provided in 1981. In 1999, the station waiting room received an upgrade, including the installation of those glass sliding doors that I went through. Initially opened as Duck Ponds, the railway station was given its current name of Lara on the 30th of June in 1875. So that's about it with the history, so please enjoy the rest of the aerial view of Lara. Now, just a final thing with the voiceover. As per usual, all the credits and references to the making of this video will be in the description below, and that includes any voiceover and also those old historic images. So here we are at the end of this video of Lara. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't go everywhere. Hopefully the drone would have picked up most of things that maybe you would have liked to have seen. My focus was basically at the old historical stuff, the things that have been here for quite some time. And I think there's sort of a need to see some of the suburbs and things like that. So hopefully if you did like the video, by all means click on that thumbs up icon or that like button. Please consider subscribing. Subscribing doesn't cost you 1 cent and it really does help the channel immensely. But most importantly, stay safe, commute safe, and just have a great day. And thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.